Would you like to know how to turn this into this? Well, watch on and you'll find out. Hello again YouTube, welcome back to Richmond. So in this video I'm going to attempt to show you how to turn this little collection of bits of timber into that. So if we zoom in, you'll see a very shiny new baseboard. Now you may know from previous videos, if you've been a long-term subscriber or if you scroll all the way back through my videos to my first couple of videos, that I have built all of my own baseboards aside from the ones in my fill yard, which I'll just pan around to and zoom out. So these fill yard boards were bought from a work colleague who is also a modeller and is also on YouTube. And I've modified them. I've just added the side parts just to make them sort of compatible with my baseboards. My baseboards are all made from 9mm ply. So it's a 9mm ply framework and a 9mm ply top. That is all held together by either this stuff, which is sort of 24 by 24 timber or equivalent, or on the older boards by this stuff, which is sort of 24 by 50 or whatever it is, or the equivalent. Let's just move these out of the way. If you like this video, please either subscribe, like, or leave a comment, or do all three. And if you do happen to subscribe, please click that notification button as well, that bell, so you get a notification when I upload a new video. Putting the boards together is fairly straightforward. So we have the 100mm deep timber for the framework, and there. And then we have a couple of pieces for the board tops. I did order this wood quite a while ago, so it's going to take me a while just to measure them up and remember which bit goes where. But as you have seen over there, I've already constructed one board, and that is my extension piece that you may remember me mentioning in previous videos. And as you can see, I've already laid track across it, and I have tested it, it all works fine. The intention is with these two boards here is to add a little bit of an extension to this end of the layout. So we're going to add a 6-inch wide piece to the front of the station, just so that we can sort of give the station building itself a bit of protection from whatever may happen, and then we can add a back scene to it, because at the minute, as you can see, the board ends pretty much at the end of the station building. There's like the buttress there, and there's about 1 maybe 2 millimeters, and then it just drops off the end of the board. So what the intention is to a 6-inch wide piece, just to add a little bit of scenery on the end, just so we can sort of put some kind of closure or some kind of end to the layout. And then this bit here will be a board about sort of that sort of size, so it'll be this piece here like this, and then another piece there at a lower level just to accommodate my coal drops. And then this piece, like I say here, is about 6 inches wide, so that'll add just a little bit more to the layout. And we can possibly add a low relief station master's house and the road that goes past the front of the station building and off towards Catterick Garrison. So the first thing that we would do is we would find out the pieces of timber necessary to construct the first board, which in this case are these two long pieces, which will go put up against there, and these two shorter side pieces which will go there. So the way that I build my boards is the outer piece, which is along the side of the baseboard, is in essence the longer piece, and that will butt to the outside of the piece of timber that adjoins the next board. And then what we'll do is we will add one of these 1x1 timber pieces to fix it together. We screw in, let me just show you, sorry, because you can't see there. So we screw through there and through there, a couple of screws, and we repeat the same on all four corners. And then we add some longer pieces, which are these here, which will be not exactly these exact pieces, but we'll have some more pieces cut to size. We've got several sections that we can use, and they will go around the top of the frame, and then the baseboard top will screw into those, and we'll glue the baseboard top on. So I hope that makes sense to you, and I hope you enjoy watching me construct these baseboards. So we've got everything ready to assemble these baseboards. You'll have to bear with me though, because I am struggling a little bit with my left arm. I am off work poorly with tennis elbow at the moment, and I am in quite a lot of pain with it. So my mobility is reduced on my left arm. However, assembling a baseboard can be done really by anybody. Large baseboards, obviously, you probably need help if you're not sort of strong enough or capable enough to manhandle them about. These are quite small, so I should be all right this morning, he says. So we just need put a couple of screws in this piece I've just clamped on, without knocking my station too much. I'll do it on this corner because at the minute I don't have a workbench to work from. And to be honest, while there's no scenery on this board, it does help. And these are the last two boards that I need to assemble anyway. He says. I did consider building a helix for the fill yard, but I don't really think I have the room or the money to build something like that. So that'll just remain a pipe dream for now. So we've clamped one end together and put some screws in, and this will butt up against the end piece like that. And you know, they all match up quite nicely. This plywood's quite good quality stuff. I do usually ask for the better stuff because they usually ask what I'm doing with it, and when I say I'm building a model railway, they always say yes, you need the good stuff for that. But for these three boards that I've built and I'm building in this video, it didn't cost much. I think it cost me about £25 for the timber, so not bad at all. What I do is just make sure this is flush. Doesn't need to be 100% flush. That'll be good enough. And then we'll get a couple of screws. And then we'll just screw this on. So usually what I do with a baseboard is I'd use cabinet maker's dowels to locate the board. So if you've never used cabinet maker's dowels before, I hadn't until I started building this board. So basically you've got a male and a female piece, and they just join together, and that just locates the board when you put it on. So I do that to all the boards. It takes a few minutes just to do, but once you've lined everything up and drilled holes and everything, it all becomes clear. So that piece is done. So there you go, that's one board done. And then put that out of the way. So we shall repeat the process with this next board. So it's just again a case of lining it up and then manhandling this clamp. You don't have to use G clamps, it's just G clamps what I've got to hand. A kind of clamp really to hold it in place. If you want to glue your baseboards together, then as with screws as well. I don't use glue apart from on the top. My older baseboards I've not used glue at all, they've just been screwed, and they stood the test of time pretty well. So then we'll just There we go, that's that side done. Release the clamp. So this board I'm making, there won't be any track laid on it because it would just be a purely scenic board. But like I say before, it's just to give a little bit of extra protection to the station building because it's a beautiful old model and it deserves looking after. So that's that clamp on there. That's not quite flush. There we go, lovely. Oh. Just hold the screw close inside it because I haven't made any pilot holes, so I don't want the screw to jump off or the drill to jump out of the screw. So there we go, that's that bit done. So now we can move the top out of the way. So this one, I'd already done off camera. I'd made a mistake and I'd drilled into it after I'd fixed it like that, which obviously is wrong. So just shows that you just need to pay a little bit of attention. And we just line this up as well. And on this, because I can't get the clamp round, we'll just clamp one side. So we can just close the clamp up a little bit. Just make sure that's nice and flush, which it is, and then tighten it up. And we can just stick this on the end here and get a couple more screws. So we'll just do that. And then put another one in there. And just a little bit of extra, we'll put another one in as well just to stop it warping at the bottom. And then we've got this other piece and we will do the same here. So we just line that up roughly. And then we can just get it a little bit closer to flush before we tighten the clamp up. There we go. That's that. So now we have to be careful because we just need to get, that's it. I'm going to get a couple of screws here. Wrong hand. Oops. See, that's what I mean if you don't hold the screw. It might just jump out the there we go. Then we can release the clamp. One more screw. So I don't know where you guys get your DIY stuff from. I personally use Screwfix at the minute because I find Screwfix to be a whole lot cheaper than say B&Q. B&Q isn't really known for being the cheapest of DIY places. And you see we just put this together. We'll just put a clamp on this side. Make sure that's the top that's flush, and it is. So just a clamp in here. Same as we've done so many other times. it is nice to say, you know, these are my last boards. It is nice building the basement. It's quite therapeutic, doing a bit of basic carpentry. So just rest this on the end here. It'd be great if I had like a Black & Decker workmate type thing to a proper dedicated workbench. It's not ideal doing it on the corner of the layout like this. So there we go. So long as you sort of, you know, get the gist of what I'm doing, you don't have to build your baseboard sort of the way I've done them. It's whatever way works best for you. And obviously there are many ways of building your own baseboards. You can buy them pre-cut from people like, you know, White Rose or Tim Horn or people like that, Grange and Hodder, that, you know, supply baseboard kits for you to assemble. Or you can go like me down the route of building them yourself and designing them yourself. It's whoops. And if you don't hold it securely, that happens. It falls off. So and then we just got the last bit just to clamp up. So a lot of people don't use ply for their baseboards. You can use a timber framework with, you know, chipboard or MDF, OSB, some dealer board, whatever. But plywood for me is the material of choice. It's strong, it's tough, it's quite resistant to moisture. And yeah, you know, it will warp and swell up eventually. But unlike MDF, if you even wave a drink or a glass of water at MDF, it'll swell up and start to flake. And obviously with MDF as well, if you start cutting it, the dust can be quite toxic because it's got all sorts of glues and resins and stuff in it. Now I know that plywood does as well, but with plywood, it's not so bad. And because I bought my stuff pre-cut, it doesn't really matter so much. And I can tell that my battery drill is starting to run out of power, so we'll carry on with baseboards until that happens. I'm going to have to go and look at an alternative, either a brand new battery drill, which I don't really want to spend out 30 odd quid on a new battery drill right now, or I can try and repair the charger. So here we go, that's one baseboard frame assembled. If we just quickly check, make sure it's square. So we've got 620 millimeters, 618 there, 619 there. So you know what? That's close enough. That'll do. That's nice and relatively square. So the next thing to do would be to add the top. So it's quite a small board, like I say. So now we need two pieces at 535 millimeters. So now we've completed the framework, we're just fixing these timbers on so that we can attach the top. So we'll just add some screws into this. Hopefully the battery will last long enough for me to finish this off. And this sort of longitudinal piece will also help reduce the frame from warping, which, with it being quite good plywood, shouldn't. Just bury those screws in a little bit more. There we go. And one more there. That's that done. Always wary doing woodwork like this right next to the station and the loco shed and stuff, but I'm trying to be really careful so I don't knock anything, destroy any models. There, and I get a screw in the middle. There we go. Just take that clamp off as well. Move the clamps out of the way, we don't need them now. So, all we're left with is a nice, solid baseboard frame. And now we just need a bit of PVA. Just to glue the frame onto the lid or the top. I'm done with the PVA for now. So I'm just going to look at both sides of the top. That's nice. I think we'll use this side. So we'll just stick it on. So there's nothing sticking out the sides, nothing out in the way. That's good. And I've got like a sash clamp type thing that I can use just to hold it in place. So that's nice. So basically I can just add a screw or two on here. So this is just there. So that's the first screw on. And then what I do is just release the clamp and attach it to this end. So I can make sure everything's nice and flush and sitting where it's meant to be. Do the clamp up. That's still good. And we can add another screw, so just there. Right. So now that's done like that, we'll add a few more screws around the edge. Now what I normally do, I'd normally add the cabinet maker's dowels to this, but this isn't really sort of location critical, so I'm just going to drill a couple of holes in the baseboard faces just so I can pass some screws, nuts and bolts through rather, wing nuts. And we'll just add a few more screws just all the way around just to hold it securely. Oops. So, good size when you can see the glue oozing out between the baseboard top and the frame. Make it all nice and solid. And if I was a perfectionist, if I was making this board for somebody else, I'd have measured out where these screws go. But as it stands, it's not that important to me because I won't be able to see them. And last screw for now. So there we go. That is how to build a baseboard. So nice. I know it's only a small baseboard to show you, but the principle is the same for larger boards. What I tend to do with a board that's over a foot in length is add some cross members. So I'm not doing this one because I know it's 2 feet long, but it's only 6 inches wide, but say this was like 2 feet wide by 4 feet long, every foot I'd add a cross member, also 9mm ply with these sort of wooden battens to hold it in place. And just to give it a bit of stiffness is what I've done for the rest of the boards. And I always cut out a little notch in the top of the cross member that butts against the baseboard top that I can pass wiring through, just to make everything nice and tidy underneath the board. So there we go, a finished baseboard, 6 inches by 2 feet. It's it'll pass muster. I'm very happy with it. And then, like I say, this will go just on the end here, a sort of final sort of extension piece of the layout. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like, please comment, and please subscribe, and I'll see you soon.